Arc Raiders has this way of pulling tension into every quiet moment. You drop into a raid and nothing is happening yet, but you already feel like something could go wrong at any second. Machines are moving somewhere you can't see. The environment feels abandoned but not empty, and you know you're not the only one down there. That feeling never really fades, no matter how many raids you've played. And pretty early on, you realize the game isn't really asking how good your aim is, it's asking whether you're prepared to deal with things when they don't go according to plan. Playing solo makes everything feel heavier. Every sound matters because there's no one else to hear it for you. Every decision feels final because there's no one there to fix it if you mess up. When you're alone, you move slower, you second guess more, and even when things are going well, you're always waiting for the moment they stop. Solo play feels clean and controlled right up until it suddenly isn't, and when it breaks fast. One bad timing window. One machine noticing you at the wrong moment, one player showing up when you're mid-loot, and the raid is done. There's no reset button in that moment. Everything you brought in is just gone. That's usually when teammates start to make sense. Not because they make the game easier, but because they change what failure looks like. With teammates, mistakes don't automatically end the run. Going down isn't a hard stop, it's a problem the group can solve. Someone throws smoke, someone covers an angle, someone pulls you back up, and suddenly what would have been a full wipe solo just becomes a rough moment you survived. That alone changes how the game feels. You stop playing like every move has to be perfect, and you start playing like you can adapt. Awareness is probably the biggest difference you feel right away. Arc Raiders gives you so much information through sound and movement, but no single player can process all of it at once. You can't watch every angle, track every machine, and listen for every footstep at the same time. With a team, you don't have to. Someone always catches something. A call-out comes in about movement you didn't see. A ping marks a machine that's drifting too close. A teammate notices another raider crossing an open area before it becomes a problem. Stuff that would have turned into an ambush solo just doesn't happen as often with a team. Fights change too. Solo combat is mostly reactive. You're responding to whatever the game throws at you and hoping you can survive long enough to disengage. With teammates, fights start to feel intentional. One person draws attention, another moves for a better angle, someone stays back to watch for third parties. Machines that felt overwhelming alone suddenly feel predictable. Enemy players lose that sense of control they rely on when they realize they're being pressured from multiple directions. Even if the fight isn't clean, it feels manageable, like there's a plan instead of panic. Looting is another area where teammates quietly do a lot of work. Solo looting is stressful by default. You're in menus, your vision is limited, and you're constantly thinking about who might be watching you. With a team, that pressure eases up. Someone is always covering. Someone is always listening. You can take a second to actually decide what's worth grabbing instead of panic looting and moving on. Teams can also spread responsibilities, one person carrying utility, one focused on damage, another staying flexible. Instead of everyone being half prepared, the group feels solid. Extraction is where all of this really comes together. It's loud, it's obvious, and it draws attention fast. Machines start moving in, other players start getting curious, and things can spiral quickly. Solo players usually just hope nothing goes wrong during those final moments. Teams don't rely on hope. They set up positions, watch angles, delay enemies, revive if someone goes down, and make sure nobody gets left behind. Extraction stops feeling like a gamble and starts feeling like the final step of a plan that's been building the entire raid. Even when everything falls apart, teammates still matter. Losing solo is just frustrating. It feels empty, like all that time disappeared for nothing. Losing with a team feels different. It turns into a quick breakdown of what went wrong. Someone missed a sound, someone pushed too far, someone hesitated, and then you queue again with that knowledge fresh in your mind. Over time, that's how teams get better. Not by winning every raid, but by surviving more often and learning from the ones they don't. What really stands out is how teammates affect confidence. Knowing someone has your back changes how you move through the map. You're still cautious, but you're not paralyzed. You're willing to engage instead of hide. You're willing to push objectives instead of avoiding them completely. That confidence doesn't come from gear or stats, it comes from trust. Trust that someone is watching an angle you can't. Trust that if things go bad, you're not dealing with it alone. Arc Raiders doesn't reward ego. It doesn't care how skilled you think you are, and it doesn't forgive reckless play. What it rewards is consistency, and consistency comes from teamwork. Teammates smooth out the rough edges of the game. They turn random chaos into something you can plan around. They turn fear into focus, and setbacks into learning moments. You don't have to be perfect when you're not alone. You just have to be willing to work together. At the end of the day, surviving a raid solo feels good once in a while. Surviving with a team feels good over and over again. And in a game built around loss, tension, and uncertainty, that consistency is everything. Surviving alone is possible, but surviving together is what keeps you coming back.